Hi, my name's Tiffany. Welcome to the Minnesota Garden Mom. We garden here in Zone 4B in Minnesota, as the name implies, and we're going to be starting our peppers today. Now, I've already started quite a few peppers, and I have more yet to go. And I thought, hey, why don't I turn on my camera and show you guys how we go about doing this? Here in Minnesota, you need to be starting your peppers indoors anytime between now and January all the way to March, but March is even getting kind of late because peppers can take a long time to germinate. Sometimes you get lucky and have the right conditions, and you can get about 10 days for germination for your peppers. But usually it can take all the way up to 3 to 4 weeks to get a germination for them. There have been times in the past where I have started my peppers and some of them just didn't germinate with the rest of them by 21 days. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to plant some more or give up on those ones and do something else. And over 4 weeks go by, and all of a sudden a pepper plant pops up, and I'm just like, hey, you're late. So here I have a giant bowl. These bowls are great for mixing up soil. My cocoa core, and I just buy it in bulk, the organic ones. I do my best to grow organically, but there's only so much, you can guarantee. So I use some vermiculite, some cocoa peat, and then I use some sifted potting mix. And I go through, take it out any big chunks because you don't want any big chunks with it. Now this is pre-moistened, so it's enough that it's going to hold together, but not so much that it's not going to break apart if I crunch it with my fingers. So I have just some 6Ls that I'm reusing here. I bought some cheap setups when they went on sale last year, after the beginning of the garden season. A lot of times those sets that are, not too bad. They're usually like $6 anyway, and they come with a dome, like Ferry Morris and stuff like that sell them. And so I usually pick some up when they're on sale, or I'll reuse stuff that was going to get thrown away from the garden centers, like if they have plants in them and they're going to toss them to the trash. Well, you know what? That plastic, might as well reuse it and have perfectly good seed starting stuff for myself for the next year. So I'm not hacking these down, I'm just gently pressing them in. And there's my baby. I made it a whopping 3 minutes. Okay, I made it back. And I did get the Miracle-Gro organic potting mix this year. Talking a little bit quiet because I don't want to wake up my baby again. And I was actually really impressed with it. It was on clearance for $4 at Menards, so I thought I'd give it a try. And when I opened it, I was prepared to see some sticks and stuff like that, because there was a few years ago that I was not impressed with the quality of anybody's soil mixes besides the Pro Mix. And if you've looked at garden stuff before, Pro Mix can be pretty expensive, but it is good quality. They do make a seed starting mix. You can get like the big bales of them. And I can't really find those locally to purchase. And I could go online, but I really just can't get myself to spend like $50 for a bale of seed starting mix when I spend like $15 for 10 bricks of coconut coir, and I'll just mix it myself. So just getting these all filled up. Side note, I heard some people were saying that they were sanitizing their trays and stuff in their dishwasher. Now, I don't know I had assumed that they're cleaning them out, like spraying them out outside and stuff before doing this, because gosh, that would be quite a mess. And I imagine any dirt and stuff like that in your dishwasher would be awful. And I just clean them out during the summer when it's nice and warm. And then I lay them out in the sun and I let the sun handle it. That is personally, my opinion, the best way to get a nice, clean, sanitized stuff is just spraying it down with the hose. Use your hands. Baby bottle scrubbers, instead of throwing away, using it to get in really good into your pots works great. Okay, so I'm done with that part. I have already planted 16 varieties of pepper seeds, and I still have some right here that I need to plant. I buy a bunch of tags last year. I have taken yogurt containers and cut them up previously, and milk containers, and then wrote on them. I've done that in the past. Um, I am very fortunate to be able to just buy some of these now, which is just, it's a blessing. But I don't take it for granted. I will use both sides. I will cross out things. I will just reuse them as many times as I can. And then instead of using a garden marker where the sun's UV rays can't erase it, I just use a black Sharpie, which makes it so the water doesn't erase it, but the UV rays can. And then I have a brand new marker I can use. So we're going to have the golden California Wonder Bell pepper. I'm going to put that there. We're going to be growing some lilac bell peppers, some Jimmy Nardello peppers, some red Corno de Toro peppers. I'm not going to do the long thin cayennes this year, but I am going to be doing some cayenne purple peppers. They're bigger, and I'm going to see if they grow better. The long thin cayenne peppers grew just fine here in zone 4B, but the amount of peppers that you have to pick, dry, and then ground down was a bit tedious. I think I'd rather be able to pick less of the peppers and they can just grow a bit longer, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to have to warn my kids though this year because there's going to be a lot more hot peppers. I'm growing some firecracker peppers this year, and they're actually only going to be ornamental, and so I don't need a lot of those. So I'm only going to be growing 3 cells, and same, I'm going to be growing some Pequeño yellow piquillo peppers, so they're like the tiny yellow beak peppers, and I'm only going to have one of these. They're really prolific. I'm only going to have one in my garden, and so I don't need to be growing 6 cells of them, but I will grow 3 just in case something happens, because I have kids and myself. Let's be real, I'm going to mess up on a few things, and it's good to have some extras. If you make it to planting time and you still have extras, then you can just give them to some friends or neighbors, or you could probably take them to your local library and see if you can set them out for donations there. You could try selling them on Facebook Market, as long as you're not too much of an extrovert. Even then, you can like just leave it outside by the curb. How cool is that? Some habanero orange peppers. I'm going to be growing, I only want 2 of those plants, so I'll grow the 3. And then I'm going to do some Tabasco peppers and some tam jalapenos. I'm going to definitely be growing 6 of those. I kind of actually want to do more than that. So I have all of my tabs written out. Now you can go ahead and write each tab as you go, but I've discovered that by the time I'm halfway through, my hands are pretty dirty from the soil, and I don't like stopping to clean my hands in between each one of them. So writing out all of them, knowing how many I'm going to have of each, it just makes it go a lot quicker. So I'm going to be grabbing my Wonder Bells. Most peppers are going to be planted 1/4 of an inch deep. Now you can do this with your finger, you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with a dibbler. I got this dibbler set with a Mother's Day gift from my husband, and it does make it go a little bit quicker. You have the freedom to choose how many seeds you drop into each. So before, I used to only put one individual seed in each area. I was really worried about moving them, and so just one in each. And if one didn't come up, then that space just wasn't filled. And now I feel a lot more confident and comfortable in my seed starting, to where I'll put a couple in each to make sure I have good germination. And then I can always go through, thin them out if I feel comfortable with that, or taking those seeds, those started plants, my baby plants, and transplanting them. Next, we have our lilac bell peppers. I'm going to be starting over 100 pepper plants, but I'm going to be planting in my garden around 80. And I know that is a lot of plants. Some people are going to say, Tiffany, that's a little crazy, but hear me out. We throw peppers in everything. I'm canning peppers, I'm eating them fresh, I'm freezing them. We like adding them just about everything. So if you were like me and like doing that, then the square foot gardening method might work well for you. The square foot gardening method works very well for pepper plants. Pepper plants like holding their hands. They like being planted closely together to a point, 12 to 18 inches. Some of them do not. Some of them get very big, especially if you live in a place where they can be grown for a longer period of time. Now, I am specifically talking about growing peppers here in zone 4. We have roughly 120 frost-free days, but something that's very important that a lot of people forget when they're learning and starting out, that just because you have 120 frost-free days does not mean you have 120 days to be growing hot, loving plants like tomatoes and peppers and other things as well. It's still going to be getting pretty cold. Peppers don't like it when it gets, in those 50s and 40s at night. And a lot of times I try not to put my peppers out until it is consistently 55 degrees at nighttime, because they can get stunted. You don't get as many peppers from them. I did wait until the beginning of June this year to transplant my peppers that I had grown. And because of that, I ended up getting 3 waves of peppers off of them. Now, the first wave was pretty small, but the peppers were good. I was very excited. And then the second wave was the biggest. And then I still had a third wave, and that was a lot more green peppers than nice, ripe, sweet peppers. I didn't do any videos of it because I wasn't doing videos yet, but I had taken my purple lilac peppers and I thought I could make some purple pepper jelly, and it looked brown by the time it was done, because the purple and mixing them with my jalapenos and stuff, yeah, it was disappointing. Still tastes delicious, but it was disappointing. I was looking for some purple pepper jelly. Maybe in the future I can try that out again and not have brown. We'll have to wait and see. I am going to be growing some Ursula peppers that I've already got started. They haven't sprouted yet, So we'll just have to wait and see for that. So the nice part about using a dibbler too is that you're not constantly putting your finger down into the soil. I was about to say dirt, but there's a difference between dirt and soil. Dirt is dusty and soil is going to have life in it, organic matter. Okay, here's my Tabasco seeds. I have not grown Tabasco seeds before, so this should be fun. My husband was talking about fermenting peppers and making his own hot sauce. Look at this, we've already all the way onto our habaneros. Get some firecrackers. These pequeño pepper seeds are quite a bit tinier than like a Wonder Bell. Didn't even check to see if that should still, yep, still 1/4 inches deep. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to cover them up. And then even though my soil was damp, I am still going to water them. Before I water them though, I know I still have some more planting to do of things. I'm going to take all of my pepper seeds and put them over here. Because now I have started 25 varieties of peppers now for the 2026 growing season, and one variety of like ornamental. That was the firecracker ones. So I have some green globe artichokes that I'm going to try growing this year, and then I also have some Southport white globe onions. And I have a little bit of space here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some seeds in for the artichokes. It says a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to have to look on here because that's a bit different than my normal. These are going to have to get up potted more likely sooner than later. 1/2 inch is so deep compared to my normal, but these seeds are quite a bit larger. A lot of times they'll say plant your seed twice the depth of the size of the seed. And most of the time that's true. But even like this one, even this seems deeper than that. So I really trust MI Gardener when it comes to their seed packets. They have not steered me wrong yet. I got some green globe artichoke seeds here. And you know what? There's 20 seeds in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to still throw in 2 seeds for these just so I make sure that I can try and start some. Now, if you are going to grow artichokes this year here in Minnesota Zone 4B, it is January. It is time to start them. They take 8 to 12 weeks before transplanting. Now, I'm going to be transplanting these into some big pots, and I'm going to be harvesting for the artichoke heart. And I know I could buy my own artichoke canned hearts, but I would really like to grow some and try it myself. So here we go on this adventure of growing our own artichokes in Zone 4. I have not done it yet, so I cannot give you any other information besides start them now, because that's what the seed packet says to do. So I have some Southport white globe onions, and these ones are getting planted 1/4 of an inch deep, and you can very easily put 2 of these in one. That's no problem. You can grow them in bunches. If they're too bunched together, then you're not going to get maximal size onions. And if you're okay with that, then go for it. But if you want the largest onions, then you are going to want to go through and thin it out later to have 1 in each. Onion seeds are pretty tiny. Now, the nice thing about starting seeds in these 6 cells is that if something does germinate, and I'm going to be having these on germination mats, then it's going to be really nice to be able to just take this one, lift it out, and set it in a different tray while the rest are still germinating. Because as I was saying, that your pepper plants are going to take quite a while to germinate, and onions don't take as long to germinate. So this will be convenient to be able to just take them out, and it's okay. You can start them all at the same time. You can start them together. As long as you can remove that 6 cell, you're golden. So I do need to run and grab some tabs. Well, there we have it. I now have to get my sprayer because I, of course, do not have that out here with me. I got my sprayer. These are now watered in. I'm going to put a humidity dome on them, and I'm actually going to bring you back and show you where I am starting these. So here we are in my laundry room, and this is a very nice, warm, safe place away from my children that I actually have. These are my pepper seeds, and they're on heat mats. And then to keep my curious kitten here away from them, I just put this over it, and he leaves them alone for now. Well, it's been days. This has been here since the 1st, and today is, I don't have on my watch, I believe it is the 5th, and so they are sitting here, and he leaves them alone. This is checked on regularly. I'm not worried about it being caught on fire, but it's a very nice, safe, warm place because with peppers, they need a very warm place to germinate. They need to be over that 70-degree range, and 75 even better. Now, here out in my garage, I have one grow rack with nothing on it, nor is it wrapped up yet. And then here I have my other grow rack that actually has things growing in it already. I have onions here in my Bootstrap Farmer trays, and they actually started to sprout already. So I have left them with this lid off. This is some more onions, and these are 28 trays for Bootstrap Farmer, and very nice, very heavy duty. And these ones also look like they're starting to, I'm seeing little germination. I'm so excited. I'm going to leave this one on until the morning. And it stays about 60 to 70 degrees in here. About 70 during the day, 60 right now. And that's because I actually keep this space open so it doesn't get overheated in there. Up here, it's closer to 80 degrees, like 70 to 80 during the day. And as it gets to the ground, it gets colder and colder because this is cement and it is chilly. If you liked this video, hit that like button. Think about looking at some of my other videos, and I hope you have a good night. Bye.